previous modules, we know we deal with cost, risk, flexibility, guarantee, obligations and guarantees. So risk is the second of these. And what we've done for each of these criteria that we use at LPC is we've pulled out the most common mistakes that get made. So number one, not seeking and not achieving. Ultimately, you want to achieve what we call a utilization provision. And time again in modules 1 to 3, we've used the pandemic as an example of the need for a utilization provision, where the vast majority of tenants across Australia and New Zealand, for that matter, New Zealand a little bit different, but I won't go into that, is the vast majority did not have protections in the instance of the utilization of the lease premises being utilized and being impaired, rather. And so in the previous modules, we've also stressed the fact of business before space. And so it's important for a tenant to think about what is the utility they need from that premises, what is very important for them, and then to try and get protections around that utility. So if it's an office at the Icon building, you want to try and get protections around that it remains an Icon building throughout the term of the lease, which can be 10 years plus 5 plus 5. You want to protect that because that's what works for the business model of that particular tenant. If it's a retailer and certain, certain factors that contribute to the utility value of that leased premises are obvious and can be articulated, then you want to bring those factors into the negotiation, foot traffic and the likes of those sort of matters, the public transport, the parking, all that type of stuff. You want to bring into account things that affect utility and make sure that they at least get tabled and get into the negotiations and hopefully get into the annexures of the eventual heads of agreement and leasing document. So the second one is accepting landlord-friendly outgoings provisions. And I think Gillian has highlighted an example of this when we deal with a gross rent lease. But there's other examples, and you'll tend to find that the outgoing provisions, when they would come from the landlord side or the landlord solicitor, they would tend to be numerous and onerous for the tenant. And so one wants to scrutinize those and make sure that, first of all, one knows what's signing up for, and one knows the impact that one's signing up for over the term of the lease, and then negotiate otherwise. Accepting a long-term lease with no break provisions, particularly important where many of our not-for-profit clients, their funding is tied to government programs, and very often they're short-term programs, and it is very negatively impactful on the business or the organization to have no break provisions. And then fourthly, accepting onerous or ambiguous make good provisions. Ambiguity tends to go, how can you say it? It tends to favor, the landing point favors the landlord and is not a good landing point for a tenant. So that's ambiguity. And then onerous, make good has got two aspects to it. It's the time. You may have a make good provision which gives you a double rent type obligation, the exiting premises, the new premises. It may have certain standards and so on that are costly to implement from a make good obligation. So accepting onerous and ambiguous make good provisions is a common mistake. Warren Buffett said, risk comes from not knowing what you're doing, and each one of the 4 items I've spoken to requires some interrogation and expertise.